Most hunters believe a heavier Magnum rifle guarantees safety in brown bear country. Documented failure rates from Alaska Guide Services tell a different story. There is an engineering decision buried in one rifle's bolt design that modern manufacturers still cannot fully replicate. It traces back to a mechanical system built before World War II, and guides in southeast Alaska still request it by name today. 5 rifles made this list for 2026, chosen for accuracy, weight, and cold weather reliability. One of them breaks every trend the others follow. Let's get into it. Number 5 is the Browning X-Bolt Hell's Canyon Speed. This rifle earns its place through a weather-sealed action built specifically for wet, punishing terrain. Browning introduced the X-Bolt platform in 2008 as a successor to the A-Bolt line, aiming to modernize bolt speed and trigger consistency. The Hell's Canyon variant adds a Cerakote finish and a carbon fiber-wrapped barrel, both chosen to resist corrosion in coastal humidity. Here is what most people miss about this rifle. The bolt uses a 60-degree throw with a 3-lug design, a geometry that reduces the distance your hand travels during a follow-up shot. That detail matters more in Alaska than most hunters realize. Cold weather stiffens gloved hands, and a shorter bolt throw means less fumbling when seconds count during a follow-up shot on dangerous game. Specifications tell the rest of the story. The rifle weighs 6.4 pounds, carries a 26-inch barrel, and feeds from a detachable rotary magazine, holding 3 rounds in 300 Winchester Magnum. Compare that to the Tikka T3X, which ships 2 inches shorter in barrel length for a trade in muzzle velocity. The trade-off here is recoil. A rifle this light in a Magnum chambering generates noticeably sharper felt recoil than heavier options on this list, a factor that matters most for hunters sensitive to follow-up shot recovery. Browning built this rifle as a lightweight mountain rifle platform, designed for hunters who prioritize carry weight over shot-to-shot speed. The next rifle on this list answers a very different question, one about what happens when barrel steel meets Scandinavian engineering. Number 4 is the Tikka T3X Lite Stainless. This rifle earns its reputation through consistent sub-minute of angle accuracy straight from the factory, a rare guarantee in this price range. Tikka is a Finnish manufacturer owned by the Saco Group, and the T3X platform draws directly from Saco engineering practices developed over decades of cold weather rifle production. Finland's climate mirrors Alaska's in ways few other manufacturing regions can claim, and that shared engineering challenge shows in the design choices. Here is the engineering decision that changed everything for this platform. Tikka uses a single locking lug bolt design borrowed from Saco's higher-end rifles, machined to unusually tight tolerances for chamber concentricity. That precision reduces bullet runout at the moment of firing, which directly improves accuracy consistency across changing temperatures. Specifications confirm the rifle's role as a precision-focused option. It weighs 6.5 pounds, carries a 24-inch stainless barrel, and feeds from a detachable polymer magazine, holding 3 rounds in 300 Winchester Magnum. Compare that to the Browning X-Bolt, which offers a longer barrel but a heavier overall action design. The trade-off with the Tikka is stock rigidity. Its polymer stock flexes more under sustained field use than a fully composite build, a factor that matters most for hunters shooting from unstable improvised rests rather than a bench. Tikka built this rifle as a precision hunting platform, prioritizing accuracy consistency across variable field conditions. The next rifle on this list solves the weight question using a material more commonly associated with aircraft manufacturing. Number 3 is the Bergara B14 Ridge. This rifle earns its place through a hammer-forged barrel process, developed directly from Bergara's custom shop heritage. Bergara is a Spanish manufacturer that built its early reputation, supplying premium barrels to custom rifle builders before launching its own factory rifle line. The B14 Ridge brought that barrel expertise to a mass production price point, a decision that reshaped expectations for factory accuracy. Here is what most people miss about this rifle. Bergara chose hammer forging over button rifling for the B14 line, a process that work hardens the barrel steel during manufacturing rather than cutting rifling grooves afterward. That work hardening extends barrel life under the sustained heat generated by repeated magnum caliber firing. Specifications place this rifle firmly in the mid-weight category. It weighs 7.1 pounds, carries a 24-inch barrel, and feeds from a detachable magazine holding 3 rounds in .300 Winchester Magnum. Compare that to the Tikka T3X, which weighs 0.6 of a pound less, but uses a shorter barrel life-rated steel. The trade-off with the Bergara is carry weight. 7 pounds becomes noticeable after a full day of steep terrain, a factor that matters most for hunters covering long distances on foot rather than hunting from a stand. Bergara built this rifle to bring custom shop barrel quality into a factory production platform. The next rifle on this list removes nearly a full pound using a barrel wrapped in a material that fundamentally changes how heat moves through the system. Number 2 is the Christensen Arms Ridgeline. This rifle earns its place as the benchmark for backcountry weight reduction among production Magnum rifles. Christensen Arms built its early reputation manufacturing carbon fiber components for aerospace and defense applications before entering the rifle market. The Ridgeline applies that same carbon fiber wrapping process to a steel barrel liner, a manufacturing decision aimed squarely at hunters who carry rifles for miles rather than shoot from a stand. Here is the engineering decision that changed everything for ultralight rifles. Carbon fiber expands and contracts differently than steel under heat, and Christensen Arms uses that property to help dissipate barrel heat faster than a solid steel barrel of the same profile. That matters because a Magnum chambering generates significant heat even after just a few rounds, and slower heat dissipation shifts point of impact during a follow-up shot. Specifications confirm this rifle's ultralight positioning. It weighs 6 pounds, carries a 22-inch barrel, and feeds from a detachable magazine holding 3 rounds in .300 Winchester Magnum. Compare that to the Bergara B14 Ridge, which weighs over a full pound more for a barrel rated to handle sustained heat differently. The trade-off with the Ridgeline is barrel harmonics. A carbon-wrapped barrel behaves differently than steel when heated rapidly, a factor that matters most during rapid strings of fire rather than the single carefully placed shot typical of big-game hunting. Christensen Arms built this rifle to solve the weight problem facing backcountry hunters who travel far from a road system. The number 1 rifle on this list abandons this lightweight trend entirely, built instead around a mechanical feature no ultralight rifle currently replicates. You have waited long enough. Here it is. Number 1 is the Winchester Model 70, specifically a controlled round feed variant chambered in .300 Winchester Magnum. This rifle earns the top spot because Alaska Guide Services still specify it by name, a reputation earned through mechanical reliability rather than modern engineering trends. Winchester introduced the Model 70 in 1936, and the controlled round feed system used in this rifle traces directly back to that original design. Unlike push feed actions common on every other rifle on this list, controlled round feed grips the cartridge rim the moment it leaves the magazine, holding it against the bolt face through the entire feeding cycle. Here is what most people miss about this system. That grip means the cartridge never relies on chamber pressure alone to seat properly, a detail that matters enormously when a rifle is worked quickly, tilted at an awkward angle, or operated with cold, stiffened hands during a dangerous game encounter. Documented accounts from professional hunters describe push-feed rifles failing to extract or double feeding under exactly these conditions. Failures controlled round feed actions largely avoid by design. Specifications place this rifle in the traditional weight class. It weighs 8.1 pounds, carries a 26-inch barrel, and feeds from a controlled round action, holding 3 rounds in .300 Winchester Magnum. Compare that to the Christensen Arms Ridgeline at 6 pounds and the Tikka T3X at 6.5 pounds. Both lighter rifles trade extraction certainty for carry comfort, a trade-off that becomes irrelevant the moment a feeding failure occurs at close range. This is the balanced conclusion the entire list has been building toward. Weight savings matter for the miles covered getting to a hunting location. Extraction reliability matters for the seconds that follow a shot on dangerous game. When the evaluation criteria shifts from carry comfort to mechanical certainty under stress, an 89-year-old design still outperforms every modern alternative on this list. Alaska hunting rewards mechanical reliability over trend-driven weight savings, especially when the target is dangerous game. Modern materials solve the weight problem. Nothing on this list solves the extraction problem quite like controlled round feed. Which matters more to you in brown bear country, a lighter modern build, or a proven controlled round action? Leave your answer in the comments below. Firearms laws vary by state, and hunters should always verify current regulations before purchasing or transporting any rifle. Subscribe for documentary-style breakdowns built on verified engineering history, manufacturing research, and documented firearms development, not marketing copy.